What's going on, everybody? Welcome to The Shift on YouTube. Today it's Francisco Rojas. Me and Nick Earnshaw did our podcast from the Wilmington Blue Rock Stadium last week. It was an awesome experience. Shout out to Kevin Linton. He was the Blue Rocks PA announcer. We just did our interview with him, and we just posted that on YouTube. So I'll have the link to that in the description, and it's also on our podcast platforms. Spotify, Apple, Google, all that stuff. All that stuff will be, the link to that will be in the description. But for today, so me and Nick couldn't. Our schedules are tough with each other. We couldn't get together to do a pod this week, but I'm doing this video right now, and I want to talk to you guys. We're getting to the stretch run here. We're getting to almost the middle of August. I want to talk about three starting pitchers who are super important to their teams for the stretch run. And I know there are a lot of pitchers out there. You can make the case for a lot of guys. You can make the case for a lot of starting pitchers out there that they're important for their team's stretch run. But these are three that stood out to me when I was prepping for this video. These were three guys that stood out for me. So number one, and I'll get the home team out of the way because if you know me, I'm a Phillies fan. Aaron Nola for the Phillies. 100%. I think it's pretty obvious considering the type of year he's had. He's been mediocre all season long. He leads the NL in home runs, 26. His K rate is the lowest since 2016. He hasn't really been, this is really, for me, reverting back to 2021 Nola, where he gave up, he was inconsistent all year. You could look at the deeper metrics and say, well, he's been this, he's been that. But he wasn't good, and he's doing the same things that he was doing a couple of years ago, where he would go 4 or 5 innings and then give up a 3-run bomb and then another home run, and then his stat line doesn't look so good. Nola's important. 4th in Cy Young voting last year. 4th in Cy Young voting. He's supposed to be an ace for this team. He's supposed to be an ace, for the Fightins. Even though it might be Wheeler, he's supposed to, again, 4th in Cy Young voting last year. When he's great. But the Phillies need him down the stretch. And I know they're 12 games over 500 right now. They've been great, and I think they still have the first spot in the wild card. Last time I checked, I might be tied with the Giants now. I'm not sure, but Nola is supposed to be an ace. Yes, he's been mediocre all year, but the Phils and you get Lorenzen now. You get Michael Lorenzen at the deadline. He's supposed to help with the 6 days rest for Aaron Nola. So that's supposed to help Nola, and we'll see. They've only had Lorenzen for a couple starts. There was a no-hitter, but Lorenzen's supposed to help with this 6 days rest. So this is supposed to help Aaron Nola. Last year on 6 days rest, you got Syndergaard at the deadline. This is supposed to help him, Aaron Nola, be Aaron Nola down the stretch. So Nola for the Phillies. Aaron Nola for the Phillies, number one for me. Number two, Sandy Alcantara. Sandy Alcantara for the Miami Marlins. He was your Cy Young Award winner last year in the National League. And the Marlins are going to have him be, I don't know if he necessarily needs to be a Cy Young Award winner, but if he can be even somewhere in the years prior where he was, a good pitcher. He was a good pitcher. His breakout year obviously was last year where he wins the 2022 Cy Young. But their offense isn't that great. 26 in runs scored. And if you look at the rest of their rotation, man, Jesus Luzardo, he's been good this year. Yuri Perez is young. Braxton Garrett, it's good. But I think if this team, wants to get a wild card spot this year, they're going to need Sandy Alcantara to be at least close to the ace that he was last year. If they really want to make a run at this thing to make the National League wild card, so Sandy Alcantara, number 2 from the Miami Marlins. Number 3, and he just came back from injury, Chris Sale. Chris Sale, the Red Sox are 3 games back in the AL wildcard. If the Red Sox can get Chris Sale, look, he had the shoulder injury, including his last start, I guess his last 9 starts combined, 2.96 ERA, 2.80 FIP, opponents hitting 204, 259, 355 with a 6.14 OPS, 59 strikeouts in just over 51 innings. If Sale can do that and stay healthy here for the next, obviously Chris Sale isn't going to be Chris Sale from 2015, 2016, like the mid 2010s. Like Chris Sale isn't going to be that Chris Sale anymore. But he's been, just over his last 9 starts combined, I know he's come back from injury, he's been really good. The Red Sox need him to, if he can do what he's done over the last, 9 starts, that's going to help them, for the rest of the stretch run here. The rest of the rotation, Brian Bayo, it's been good, but young. Cutter Crawford, he's only been up in the majors, 27 starts to his name, not even a full season technically. James Paxton's been good when healthy, and their offense has been good. But Chris Sale could help them, put them over the top. If Chris Sale, can be what he's done over the last, his last 9 starts, and even if he's close to the Chris Sale that we saw in 2018 before the injuries started piling up the last couple of years. So those are my 3 guys. Nola from the Phils, Aaron Nola from the Phillies, Sandy Alcantara from the Marlins, Chris Sale for Boston. Those are 3 guys that are super important for their teams down the stretch, if they want to make the playoffs. So Nola, Alcantara, Chris Sale. Let me know. Give me other pitchers. There are other pitchers. There's definitely a lot of other pitchers out there that are important, especially when they're their wild card spot now, and there are a lot of teams trying to get the playoff spot before the postseason starts. So that's gonna do it for me. Let me know. Social media all down there will be in the description. All that good stuff. So that's gonna do it for me, Francisco Rojas. Talk to you guys soon.